Okay, welcome to our first Pathways Charter Google Apps for Education, Pathways Charter Tech Workshop. Today we're talking about backups, and let's see if anyone else is on. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to join us, and I'll just keep watching to see if you join in. This is our first go, and we'll see how Google Hangouts on Air works. Maybe this is something you can use for board meetings next year. So if you're trying to get to us, you're going to look in your email, and there should be an email from me inviting you to the Hangout on Air with a link, and clicking that link should launch it. Chrome browser is going to be the best browser to use, but if you launch in Firefox or Safari or Internet Explorer, that should work as well. There you go. Sharon Payne is here with me in the office, live. So I have a person right here testing it out with me, and we can troubleshoot if needed. There is a Q&A app if you manage to get into the Hangout. Oh, you're going to have live. So I have a person right here testing it out. Did you mute it? Okay, perfect. Looks like there's a little bit of a delay. That's interesting. Once you're able to get in, you'll see there is a Q&A option, so you can ask questions. Why don't you go ahead and give that a try? Do you see where it is?
I do not. Showcase. Since popped out.
Looks like we have 2 viewers so far. Oh, now we're down to 1 viewer.
I do not see where it says that.
No, if you hover over your screen to the left side, there might be a little blue text sort of Q&A button. Don't see it? Is it just showcase and pop out? Or that's up there.
There's a blue person at the top. There's a question mark. That's help. 9 little boxes. Pop out and close.
I'm going to try screen share. Let's see how this works. How does it look? You see something? Not what we want you to see. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm going to stop screen sharing. Okay. So in the grid on the left is the question box. Thank you. Is that Davida? You're awesome. The grid on the left is a question box. Do you see that? Well, not everyone seems to have the exact same thing. It could be because on the right, thanks Davida, the grid on the right, click on the grid. The grid right there. Q&A. Okay, so if you have questions, click on the grid. We call that the waffle, right? So it kind of looks like a waffle. Click on that. You'll see the different options that you have. One of them is Q&A. One is Q&A. One is the showcase, which is where I'll be sending links if you want to view them. One of the links that we've got is the first link. If you look at the showcase, it looks like some tags. So go to the showcase, you'll see World Backup Day infographic. And if you click that link, it'll take you to a great infographic that talks about why we should back up. So I'm not going to share the screen because that seems to have some serious issues. We'll have to troubleshoot that later. However, when we look at that infographic, go ahead and click on that. We see that there's lots of different reasons for data loss, right? The 2 main ones are hardware or system malfunction and human error. So that's the majority of data loss is caused by us or by our machines failing. Natural disasters, computer viruses, and software corruption make up the rest, but mainly we need to back up our data to protect from ourselves and from our computers. What's a backup? A backup is your insurance policy against data loss, right? So you've got some information here about the 3-2-1 model. So that's keeping a primary copy, a copy of that in like another drive, and then the cloud, an off-site copy. We're not like super concerned with 3-2-1 or anything. We just want to make sure you're backing up in some way, and that you're backing up as often as possible. So keep scrolling down, you know, and then there's green and red. Did you know 30% of people have never backed up? And I would guess that here at Pathways, we're a little bit higher than that. We see that every minute 113 phones are lost or stolen. And that represents a lot of data that's on there, like pictures and other information that is gone. Computers are infected with viruses every month. And 39% of data disasters are caused by accident. That means we throw something in the trash and delete it and then realize it was a really bad thing to do. If you have an external hard drive, here's a little tidbit. 4 terabyte hard drives are apparently the best and most reliable. 3 terabyte hard drives are 3 times as likely to fail as 4 terabyte hard drives. Mine is only a 1 terabyte. Yeah, so if you have an external hard drive, or if you're considering buying one, I'd say go with a 4 rather than a 3. But 1 and 2 terabytes should be fine for your backup as well. We see that hacking accounts for 67% of data loss in business. We don't worry about that too much here. Most hackers don't concern themselves with education. There's not a lot of money for them to steal here. The hackers we would see would maybe be students trying to get into places they don't belong. However, our system's pretty secure. So, graphic, I'm going to share the next thing with you guys here. Give me 1 second. All right. So, so just take a second, then oh, that didn't work. So if you go back to your Hangouts screen where you clicked the link to start this, there's a link in that has the slideshow, basically, that we're going off of today. It's the plus.google.com/events. Let me know in the questions if you can't find it. So if you go, let's go back to your email where you got the email from me and click that link to the Hangout, and let's see if that takes you to the Hangout or to the Hangout event page. Hangout event page, perfect. So clicking that link will take you back to the Hangout event page, and if you scroll down, you'll see I put a little note in there, resources for today's workshop, and then the link is to a Google slideshow presentation that you can click on, and that'll give you access to all of the resources we're going through today. I see Davita's in there. Awesome. So the event page, we're looking at the second page of the presentation. The event page has the link to our current Hangout, and then you can see right down below that is the YouTube page. Clicking on that won't do anything right now because the Google Hangout on Air isn't finished. But once we finish it, it'll automatically publish to the YouTube page, so you can go back and watch it through that link. I'll do this with each of the Hangouts this summer so that you'll have a link to the Hangout while it's happening, and then you'll have a link to the YouTube page so you can watch it afterwards if you need to. When we look at the third slide, which is with the majority of our information, the infographic we just reviewed. Why should we back up? Because things happen. Instructions, how to back up. That link will take you to some instructions for how to back up to a USB, is mainly how it's showing you on a Mac or a Windows machine. I like these instructions because they're really simple and easy to understand. And they work. So it walks you through backing up on a USB drive, Windows 7, Windows 8, or Mac. So that'll walk you through all of the information you need to know. How to start it on Windows 7, how to start it on Windows 8. The only thing you have to do is plug in a USB external hard drive. So if that's the method you want to use to back up and you have an external hard drive, then that will walk you through that really easily. Then beyond that, my preference and what we're going with here is Google Drive. So backing up to an external hard drive is great, and you should do that. And if you're interested in using Google Drive, and I hope you are, there's some information here on this slide about security and sharing and storage space. One thing to note is all Pathways Charter School Google Drive accounts have unlimited storage. That means that it won't run out. You can put all of your information on there, even your pictures and music and videos, and you won't run out of space. However, that's not very nice to do, right? So we recommend that you put all of your pictures, music, and movies on an external hard drive, and then leave Google Drive for all of your professional stuff. That said, all of the pictures I've taken for Pathways, like graduation and all of that, is backed up to my Google Drive account, and I'm sharing it with you guys so that there's a photos share on Google Drive that you can access photos, and I hope that we all start using that more often also. And Sharon does too for the yearbook. Yeah, she's going to use how to do that. Yeah. All right, so those links there in Google Drive don't give you instructions for how to use it. They just talk you through the security and the sharing aspects of it. One thing that a lot of folks were concerned about with Google Drive and backing up to Google Drive is, what about FERPA and SIPA and all these acronyms that talk about confidentiality and student data security. So Google Drive is really secure, and it's encrypted, and they have a commitment with all their Google Apps for Education customers that they won't be putting ads in or selling our information or anything. So we can be confident that if we store backups up in Google Drive, it's not going to be sold or corrupted through Google. It's up to us to make sure that we keep it secure. So when we're using our Google Drive to back up information, if anything's confidentiality or a potential FERPA, concern, then we need to keep it private, meaning only we can access it. And in Google Drive, it's really specific, and it's so weird being online. Sorry, I don't like this, but I'll get better at it. Okay, so in Google Drive, you choose your sharing settings. So basically, don't share anything that's confidential or could violate FERPA. And how do you do Google Drive backups, right? Everyone's wondering. Okay, so when you go online, I suggest you use Chrome browser, Google Chrome. If you don't have it on your computer, you should download it because it syncs your data really well, and it works with all the Google apps. Whereas Firefox and the other browsers, you have to install extensions and add-ons in order to use all of the Google apps for education. So in Chrome, you go in your internet browser, Chrome browser, and type in drive.google.com. If you're not already signed in to your Google Apps account, it's going to ask you to sign in. Make sure you're using your Pathways Charter account. Okay, hi Kit, I see you're on. So drive.google.com, you sign into your Pathways Charter account, and then you're going to be taken to the Drive interface. And most of you will see some stuff there. On the left, you see My Drive, you see Shared with Me, you see New. One thing that I want you to notice once you're in Google Drive, In the top right-hand corner, you'll see like your little picture, which might be a picture of you if you've uploaded one. Otherwise, it's just a silhouette. Right underneath it is the gear icon. The gear icon represents settings, right? So if you click that gear icon, you'll see a drop-down menu come up. And the second thing should be download Drive. That's how you, if you don't already have Drive downloaded to your computer, that's how you download it. So Drive is an online interface. That's where you can go online and store your stuff. It's really great. You can drag and drop from your desktop, from other file folders into the Drive interface. However, if you download Drive, then it puts it into your folders where, like, if you're on a Mac and you open up Finder, you can see Google Drive is right there, and you can move files and folders into it and save everything there, and it'll sync automatically. So you'll have a copy of everything in Drive on your computer, locally saved. But then every time you're on the internet, it'll sync up to the cloud too. So it's automatic backups every time you're connected to the internet. On a PC, it's not Finder, it's the Windows Explorer interface. You see like My Documents, pictures, music, downloads. Drive is there also. Google Drive is one. So you would just move everything from Documents or desktop, wherever you keep it, into Google Drive. It's just a different place that you store it. It's still on your computer. Hi, Chrissy. No, you don't need to see anything other than me. I tried sharing my screen and it didn't work, so we have to troubleshoot that some. But you can follow along with me and go to drive.google.com and download Drive. And then download for PC is what you'll see if you're on a PC, and download for Mac. You can also download it on a phone. So if you've got an iPhone or an Android, I think even Windows phones, then you can download Drive, and you can have all of your documents synced between all your devices. And then it's going to download. You'll go through the process of installing it. So it'll ask you to run. It'll ask you to agree to some terms and conditions. On a Mac, it'll ask you, it'll have a little icon where you have to take the Drive icon and like drag it and drop it into your applications icon, and then it'll install it in your applications folder. And then once you finish the install process, the downloading and install process, it'll ask you to sign in with your Pathways Charter account. Make sure you use the entire email address and your password to sign in to Drive, and then accept the terms and conditions, and it'll have it there on your computer. On Macs, you'll see a little Drive icon in the top menu bar, and that'll give you a status update about what it's doing, if it's syncing any information, if it's connected. Same with the PC, except you'll see your status icon in the bottom menu toolbar, like where you go to eject a USB drive. You'll see a little triangle Drive icon there once you've got it installed. I've got, if anyone has any questions, I've got the questions open. So please put them up in the Hangout if you have any questions. Thanks, Kit. This is really weird. I don't like being on camera.
So you're using Drive?
So once you've downloaded Drive, you're going to want to find it. So here's Drive. It's a triangle. And we're going to get started. So you're going to look for the Open Application Drive. And it'll ask you to sign in where you enter your email. It's nice having Sharon here so I can see what it looks like from your perspective. I appreciate that she doesn't have me on her screen, because that would be really embarrassing to see.
Pathways.
So those of you that are on Q&A, if you have, or on the Hangout, if you have any questions, please enter them. Also, I'm hoping to get some feedback from you guys. What worked, what didn't work? Is this a viable way of providing trainings? Do you like it? One thing I like about doing these recorded trainings is it's great for people who aren't here to look back on. And then even for us that are here, we can go back and like pause and say, wait, I need more time to do that step. Let me pause her, catch up, and then continue. So when you're in Google Drive getting started for the first time, it's going to ask you, it's going to take you through like some basic information. Here's how you share. Go ahead and just say next. Yes, I agree to everything. And let's get started. Then Google Drive is, go ahead and say done. Yep. Then Google Drive will open on your computer, and you'll see it like a traditional Finder window in Mac or Windows Explorer window. Yeah, so you see it on the left-hand side where you would see like downloads, desktop, pictures, music. You see Google Drive, and if you click on that, it'll show you what's in your Google Drive folder. Some of you might have stuff in your Google Drive folder because you automatically get stuff in there when you open attachments from email, or if you've already backed up your files to Google Drive. We want to be backing up files to Google Drive. So if you haven't yet, that's where we want to put stuff. So
apparently I
your stuff, yeah, your stuff's in Google Drive. And a lot of you, I've sort of snuck that in. And while we've been working this last year, I've been backing you up to Google Drive. Some of you, and if you know that you store all of your stuff in your documents folder or in your desktop folder, this is the time you want to take it and move it to Google Drive. It's not going to take it off your computer. It's just going to move it from the desktop or documents folder into your Google Drive folder, keeping all of the organization you have or lack of organization that you have wherever you've got it, and into Google Drive, but it will slowly start syncing it up to the cloud. So just moving it on your computer to a different folder called Google Drive, and then as it's connected to the internet, it'll just slowly start moving it, not moving it, but syncing it online, so you have an online backup. That way, if something happens to your computer, say you drop it out of a window, no big deal. We hook up Google Drive on a new computer, and there's all your stuff. The only thing you lose in that instance is anything that's not saved in the Google Drive folder, and things like internet bookmarks, which we'll talk about another time. Any questions? Yes.
What if we delete something? If we delete it on the computer, will it delete it from the cloud? If we delete it on the cloud, will it delete it from the computer?
Yes. So Sharon asked, basically how does the sync work? So if you delete something on your computer, like from the Google Drive folder in your computer, does it also reflect that online? Yes, absolutely. The great thing though is that Google Drive knows that we make mistakes, and so they've got a function where it doesn't actually delete all the way. It will delete, but you can go back and say recently deleted files and find it. Also, in any file that you're working on, it saves revision history. So it says, oh, this is how you've changed it in the last 2 weeks. And you can look back, it goes back longer than that, but you can look back and say, oh man, I accidentally deleted some important stuff yesterday. You can return to a copy of that file from the day before. So it's really great that you can, it keeps that revision history for you. Kit says, I like the format, thinking of using it for online science advising for high school. Yeah, I'm thinking you're talking about Google Hangouts, and I think that's great. It kind of could replace the Ning thing that we were using, and I'm thinking about trying to replace WebEx too. Because when we do have the share screen thing fixed, you could do that. There's also a place that you can do like thumbs up, ask questions. You can send out polls, so you can have like questions that you ask your students and they can respond to you. Do we drag them into a file called Google Drive and then move the Drive folder to Drive? No. So once you've installed Drive, you should see it listed in the left-hand side. Kit, you're on a PC, I think. So when you open like a File Explorer window, Windows Explorer, you'll see on the left-hand side all of your different folders and connected devices. One of those should be Google Drive. It should be there because you've installed the app. Once it's there, then you can open another window, or just in that one, go to Documents or Desktop, wherever you keep your files, select everything and move it, and just drag and drop it onto the Google Drive folder, and it'll move it into that folder for you. You don't need to create another folder called Google Drive. You already have stuff in Drive. Yes, a lot of you do, and it might be stuff that we already moved from your computer this way, so it's backed up, or it might just be stuff that has randomly come into Drive because you've opened attachments in Gmail when you were logged in online. So Google Drive gets messy, and that's just kind of the way it is. So you can spend a lot of time trying to organize stuff, and I have some organization in Google Drive. So when I create folders on my computer or in Google Drive, I'm careful about where I save them. So there's some organization in my Google Drive, but there's also a lot of just junk sort of that gets in there when you're opening attachments from other people. And the nice thing about Google Drive is they've got a great search feature. So you can always just search for things. And those of us that have started adopting Google Drive have learned that search is our friend. When you're in Google Drive on the web, so not the Drive app on your computer, but you're logged in online, drive.google.com, you'll see that there's on the left-hand side, the Drive, the Pathways icon, then Drive, then under that, a red button that says New, then under that, My Drive. If you've got like folder structure that you've moved into your My Drive, there should be a little arrow that you can toggle to the left of My Drive. When you click on that, it'll drop down all the folders you have within Google Drive. So that's one way that I use to look for my folders when I'm online. Below that My Drive, you'll see Shared With Me. And clicking on Shared With Me shows you everything that's been shared with you. There should be a folder called All Staff Share. And when you click on that, you'll see all of the staff share information, including Pathways photos, where I've put in photos, and I hope you guys start adding photos for our different events, and also tech trainings. So I've put in the PowerPoint that I used with the resources for today. There's share folders for each site as well, so that if there's specific stuff you want to share within the people at your site, you can do that. Another one of our workshops is on sharing, so we'll talk about that more later this summer. I think Sharon has a question, and I'm going to go back and see if anyone else does too.
I actually
Did you solve it?
Just trying to figure out, follow you, that's all. So Google Photos, is that where you put the graduation photos this year?
No, if you go to Shared With Me, and then if you look for a folder called All Staff Share.
That's where I am.
Okay, so you want to double click on the All Staff Share.
Down there? Oh, this one.
All Staff Share. When you double click on All Staff Share, you should see several other folders, and one of those I think is called Pathways Photos.
There we go.
Sorry for getting close to the camera.
Look at that.
Pathways Photos, and I might not have put all my graduation photos in there yet. I'm not sure. Does it look like it or no?
Doesn't look like
Doesn't
it.
look like it.
Doesn't
Okay.
look like it.
Well, I will, and then you guys can go ahead and access them. They are
That
there?
would be fab.
No. Okay. Then you can access them from there. I know Sarah took some photos too, so I'm going to have her put those up in there. We got some great ones, so it'd be good if you can share them with your students
I
and
got some
families.
really good ones too.
Awesome. So if we can all put them there, and one of the things when we start sharing folders and sharing files, we want to be careful about how we're naming things and how we're organizing things, right? So in that all staff share, we've got shares for each site. The Pathways photos, you can see I put class of 2016 because they're done now, right? They've graduated. So I'm going to put graduation in there. But you'll see also significant events. So I've got a graduation folder there too. So that's a little funky. Oh, they are there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2016 graduation.
Oh, there they
There's
are.
the photos.
But they're not in
they're
the
in
first
significant
one.
events. So
Yeah.
this was my my like confusion, right? Like how's the best way to organize things? I don't know, because everyone's brain works a little bit differently. But I thought, what are the main events of our school? Well, graduation is a huge event every year. So maybe we put graduation stuff in significant events, and then the
project and performance fair,
project
STEM fairs.
Yeah, all the different fairs that we have. Then like the class of photos could be more like just the everyday, like, oh, here's a photo of some stuff that I took in my classes. I'm not sure if class of 2016, class of 2017, 2018 will work because we've got multi-ages in our classes. So
you
that
could just call it not class of, but maybe
2015-16, and then everything from this last year that's not a significant event would go in there.
Yeah.
And then maybe Sharon goes in and does some more organization because you're doing the yearbook. Then you might be one of the one that uses the most photos, so you can organize.
That would be a great place for like Lake teachers to drop, or any teachers to drop pictures in there.
Right, and then it'll make your job a lot easier because you'll have one place to pull photos from when you're doing your book. Maybe you'll do a Sonoma yearbook too. You guys should see her face right now.
Not this year.
Okay, so that's one thing we have to be careful of is when we're sharing things, how are we organizing it so that everyone's going to get the best use out of it? And then also in our own drive, how are we organizing things so that we can find them when we need them? Yeah. Questions? Awesome photos. Yay. Thanks, Kit. Davida, I have Google Drive already, but it seems to be connected to an old Gmail account. How do I get it connected to PCS email instead? That happens sometimes. So on a Mac, you're going to click on the Google Drive icon that's up in the top menu bar. So it's like next to your Wi-Fi icon and your Bluetooth icon and battery icon. You click on that. When you click on it, it should drop down and you'll see the account that it's synced to and some settings, like the little ... that indicates settings next to it. I think in there you can sign out. We might have to look about that some more. About preferences is probably where you want to go, preferences, and then you could go to advanced account. You go to account, disconnect account, and then you would go in and connect account again, but this time with your Pathways Charter account. That's the one thing about the Google Drive app. It really is difficult to switch between accounts, so you kind of have to choose which account you're going to use for the Google Drive app, the one that's downloaded to your computer. If you have a personal account and a work account, since this is a work computer, I would say make it the Pathways Charter account. You can sign into your Google Drive account online for all of your accounts, right? So you can have your personal account in Firefox and your work account in Chrome or vice versa, so that you can access all of your different accounts online. But I would say for your for the Google Drive app that you've downloaded to your computer, keep it Pathways, and then you can sync everything. What other questions do we have? Kit, I am so stoked this is being recorded too. But hopefully you guys just don't look at me when you replay it. You just listen. All right. Well, I'm going to stay on. If anyone has any questions, please ask them. Otherwise, we'll go another few minutes and then I'll stop the broadcast. So yeah.
I just close it all up and see if I can do it again.
Cool. Backing up. Make sure you back up regularly.
We've had automatically do it now.
With the Google Drive app, anything you put in the Google Drive folder is going to automatically back up. Yeah. So it's a great way to store things.
So if I save a document, instead of saving it to documents, I'm going to save it to Google Drive.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. Let's just see if I can.
And those of you office staff that are like, I don't know, is it okay to do that? We've been saving stuff to the shared folders in on the server, and that's fine. We've got the server here right behind me, actually, in my office. So it's saving here, and then I've got it backing up to a hard drive, an external hard drive, but that's it. So it's not then backing up to the cloud. So we might want to have a conversation about migrating those things to Google Drive and then having them shared between those office staff that use them. And it is secure, and so we can trust that our data is secure, and it's cloud storage, so it's going to be safe from fires, which in this case, right, our stuff would be lost. Is there a way to delete drive items that come from Classroom without hitting each one separately? Yeah, I'm gonna counsel you not to worry about deleting much stuff in Google Drive. But if you want to, I believe there's like, if you hover over the stuff, there's like a little checkbox to the left of it. And you can, this is in the online, like when you're logged in online, drive.google.com, you can hover over, then you get a little checkbox to the left of everything, and you can check multiple things and then trash them. But like I said, you have unlimited storage. So be cautious in deleting things, especially Google Classroom, because when you're using Classroom, it'll make folders for you. Deleting them might make it difficult to access some of the features of Classroom. If you want to reuse your like files and assignments that you've used for this last year, for next year, you don't want to have deleted this year's Classroom folders that Google Drive automatically created when you made it Classroom. Davida, can't find the sign out option in your Google Drive. So try one more time on your Mac. In the very top of your thing, you'll see the Drive app, right, is like a triangle. You click on that, then below it you click on the little 3 dots next to your name, and that's settings, and then you click on preferences for the drop-down list. You should get a window with 3 tabs. The middle one is account, and then you should be able to say disconnect account. I don't want to do it because then I'll be disconnected and you guys won't see me anymore. But if you do that, it should then let you connect another account. And if that doesn't work, the good thing is Davita's here today, so she can come see me afterwards. Kit, I have no files, but from my kids in English class, they shared their essays. Yeah, so do you want to keep those? That's where they live. They might also live in the students' accounts and drives, but I think they might. So, sorry, Kit asked, in her Google Drive account, she's got the classroom folders, and then in the classroom folders is the essays that students submitted. So I'd just keep them if it was up to me, but if you want to delete them, you can. We want to make sure that those are also living in the students' Drive folders, because that might be something that they want to be able to pull back on in the future, especially if they're doing portfolios or looking for exemplars of some of their work to show their growth over time. We want to make sure they have access to those essays. And I believe that they're in their Google Drive, but let's check on that first before we delete anything. Kit, so I have hundreds of individual docs mixed in with docs from Sarah that I actually do need to save. Yep, so one feature that's cool about Drive is you can open a doc, and when it opens, you'll see in the top there's like a name, which you can rename. You just click on the name of the doc when you're in the online, not in the Google Drive, but online, drive.google.com. You'll see the name, you can rename it. Right next to the name is a little folder icon. You can click there to move it and then reorganize it so you can save it into a different place. So if you want to start organizing things, you can save them into the places that make sense for you. Because Kit says she has like 300 docs in there, hundreds of individual stuff mixed in with docs from Sarah, and so yeah, it gets confusing. It's confusing, yeah. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm looking here and noticing these questions. When you guys submit questions to me, I can select a question and then answer it. I wonder if those of you that watch later on YouTube can see the questions. That would be nice. You don't see any questions?
No, no, no. I was back here if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to rename this. But I'm not. You could do that online, you said in Drive? Or?
You can. So right now you're in your Documents folder.
Right.
So you can rename stuff in your Documents folder and in your Google Drive folder.
Okay.
So when you're online, when you're in your computer, like in Finder or in Windows Explorer, and you're looking at your list of documents, you could just right click, or on a Mac, control click to select the name of a document and then change it. You can right click and rename, or Mac, you can just kind of click hard twice and then rename. But if you go online to drive.google.com and open a document, so if you open a document, then you can, well, if you open a Word file, it'll come up just like as an image, and it'll ask you, do you want to open in Drive? And you'll say yes. It'll create a Drive version of it, right? Because Google Drive has Google Docs, which is Google's version of Microsoft Word. So it'll open in Docs, and then you'll have a doc, and that gets a little confusing because you might have duplicates then at that point.
Okay, so if I were going to open one of these, then let's just say I was going to open this one.
Davida, Google Drive is syncing right now. Success. Awesome. Good job. Kit sees where she can make folders, that folder icon when you're online. Yeah, that's a great way. Just make folders, make your organization structure, and then drag and drop things into the folders that you want. The dragging and dropping into folders seems to work best on your app, the Google Drive app that you downloaded to your computer. Whereas making the folders kind of works better when you're on the online drive.google.com. So like creating the organizational structure, I think works best online, and then dragging and dropping and moving the files into the right folders, for me, works best when I've got it down in my on my computer and I'm looking at my Google Drive app, right? Like in Finder or in the Windows Explorer. So you kind of have to play with it a little bit to get used to, like, where do I want to work? Do I want to work online, or do I want to work on Google Drive on my computer? And if you want to, for example, open a Word document, because like we just said, if you try to open a Word document online in Google Drive, it's going to create a Google Doc version of that Word document, and then you'll have two named the same. One's Word and one's Doc. So if you're going to continue working in Microsoft Word and not like completely go over to the Google Drive side and do everything in Docs, then just keep working, open files on your computer through the Google Drive app. But organizing and creating folders and that structure you can do online. That's also the best place to share things. So if there's folders or files that you want to share with other people, you select those sharing settings online. But opening and working with files, especially if they're Word files or Excel files.
So if I want to make a new folder here, I'm going to call it Yearbook.
Kit's asking, is there a way to get things to go into the right folder as they come in next fall? I'm guessing that you're meaning classroom, like classroom files when students submit essays and stuff. So there's a couple different ways of doing this, and when we talk about classroom in August, I'll have some great tips for you. One of the things is to maybe not use Google Classroom for submitting everything, because it does create a folder for each like class, and then it can be difficult to keep track of things, right? So it might even be better just to create a folder for your class, share it with the students in your class, and then make sure that they submit everything into that folder so you have access to it and they have access to it. We'll talk about some of those best practices in August. But there's a way to get things to go into the right folder you want them to go into. Okay, I don't see any new questions. Give you a few questions. Sharon, any questions?
Okay, so I created a folder online called Yearbook 15-16. So I'm going to put all my last year's yearbook notes, letters, things.
Did you create that in your drive or in the shared folder?
Here. So I went to here, and now I have this folder.
Okay, so you've got a folder in your drive, so this right now isn't shared with anyone. You can
Right.
tell when you look at the folder icon, Google.com, if the folder icon has like other people's silhouettes in it, then you know that it's shared. Otherwise,
Okay, so like this,
right,
that's shared.
right.
Okay, so here.
Right, so there's your folder. So now you want to open,
Okay, so
right,
I opened it, and there's my.
right, but you're in Microsoft Word right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If you want to organize things, rather than trying to look at how things are organized through an application like Word or Excel, you want to open an Explorer window. So on a PC, that looks like a little folder icon on the bottom of your dock. And on the Mac, it looks like what is that, a Picasso face on the bottom of your dock. Clicking the Finder or the Explorer window will open where you can then explore and you can see how your folder structure is organized.
Okay.
And then you can like drag and drop things from one folder to another and start backing things up to Google Drive.
Okay, so
Rather than opening it from within an application. Because yeah, when you're in Word, you can look and see the structure of your folders, but you can't do anything with them. You can just open
so then
or
I
save.
open my documents here.
So here's where you would want to find your yearbook folder that's in your documents, right? And then you'd want to then drag that over to your Google Drive.
Now I have, well, like this one. Letters to the family. So I move to Google Drive.
Mm-hmm. Like, to be honest, what I would do is select everything that's in your documents and move it to Google Drive. So it's just all going to Google Drive. Once it's in Google Drive, then you can start dragging and dropping into folders.
Then I can organize.
Exactly.
Okay.
Get everything from documents or desktop or pictures or wherever it is that you keep things.
Okay.
Just drag the entire thing over to Google Drive. And a way to do that is on the PC is to hold Control A when you're looking in that Windows Explorer window. Control A will select everything. And so then it's all selected and you just drag and drop to Google Drive. On the Mac, Command A will select everything in a Finder window, like your Documents Finder window. And then you can just drag and drop it over to Google Drive. And it'll move quickly. So boom, right? It's done. It moved it. Now it's in Google Drive.
I think so.
It's
still flashing down here.
If it's still showing up there. And you'll notice when you're in Google Drive, you'll see two different icons on top of your folders. This is on the app, not online, but like the Google Drive that you installed on your computer. When you open Windows Explorer window or a Finder window, you'll see two different kinds of icons. One is like a recycle circle, right, with two arrows going around in a circle. That means it's syncing and it's still working. So it's using Wi-Fi to upload your stuff up to the cloud. If it has a green check mark on it, it means it's synced. All the most recent changes you made to that file have been synced to the cloud. So those versions are exactly the same. You can open it on your computer if it's a Word file, make some changes, and it'll briefly have that circle like it's going to sync. And then once it does, it'll go green check. You can also open it online, make changes. When you're working on any files online, they auto-save. There's not like a file save feature that you have to do online like you do on your computer. And then it will, the next time your computer connects online, Google Drive will notice, oh, there's been some changes made, and it'll sync. And so that icon will be back again, showing that it's syncing. Let's see if we have any more questions. I wonder if anyone is ever going to watch this on YouTube. I kind of hope not. Kit or Davida, any questions? Chrissy, any questions? I'm not sure, Chrissy, if you ever got to the place where you can ask questions. If you hover over my picture, if you're watching me on the Google Hangout, there's the little waffle icon, right? The 3x3 dots. Clicking on that gives you the option for the Q&A. It looks like a little blue text box, and then you can go in and ask questions. So to review, backing up files, external hard drives are great if you want to use one. That link that I shared with you with the instructions for backing up, whether you're on a PC or a Mac, to a USB drive, that's great instructions. They're simple and easy to follow, so do that if you want to back up to a hard drive. And in addition, or instead of, I would recommend using Google Drive so that you're also backing everything up to the cloud. And like I said, our Pathways accounts give us unlimited storage, so there's no limit. Your personal Gmail accounts, if you have personal accounts, they're usually limited to 25 gigabytes, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Backing things up to your personal Gmail account for personal stuff is great, but it's limited usually at about 25 gigabytes. I noticed recently that, oh man, a lot of the stuff that I have backed up to my Pathways account is personal, so I'll have to start sorting that out. But it's not too big of a deal yet.
I'm hearing it's like
A
you're
spinning
stalling
circle.
Out. Yeah, you're stalling out. Like I sent a
Oh, like
question,
I
I
am?
don't even know if it came.
Oh, maybe because we're all online right now. Let's see if your question came in yet. Is anyone else having connection issues? Let's see if anyone else responds. Kit, are you having connection issues? I'm opening up the cameraman app, so we'll see if there's any.
I'll go back.
Okay.
Stuff not that. arrows on it, so I guess it'll take a while.
Yeah.
To back up on
Yeah.
it. So.
It's going to take a while for it to upload. But you don't need to worry. It's not like it's living in nowhere while it's backing up, right? It's still on your computer, but every time you're connected to the internet, it'll just keep trying to back up. Keep your computer open and wait for it to sync. You can, and it'll go faster, right? But if you've got something to do, close the lid, go off and do your thing. The next time you connect to Wi-Fi, it'll just start doing it again.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll get disconnected and want you to sign in again. And so if you notice that your Google Drive like icon in the top menu bar for Macs or in the bottom for PCs, if it's grayed out or if it has an exclamation point on it, then it needs you to address something. And so you can go in there and check and see what's going on, and you might have to sign in again.
I think I have to drag it down here because it's not down here.
No, it's there. So when I talk about Macs, you guys know what I'm talking about. The Google Drive icon is a triangle and it's up in the top. But for PCs, it's like bottom right where your Wi-Fi is. There's a little arrow that you click on, like when you want to eject a USB drive. When you click that arrow, once you've downloaded the Drive app lives in that also. Okay. So that's where you can look. And if it's on the PC, I think yours is colored, right? Max is just black triangle, but the PC is colored. If you check it and notice that it's grayed out or it has an exclamation, then you have to go in and do something. Perfect. Yeah. Well, we almost took an hour. This is great. Let's see if our Q&A has any more questions. I'll get way better at this too, I promise you guys. We'll learn how to share the screen, and we'll also learn how to have you guys in as well. So I'll troubleshoot that, because at some point we want to be able to have you guys video on the bottom too, so we can take turns talking, and whoever talks, then that's their picture, which is nice, gives me a little break. Kit says video is stalling now. Okay. Sorry, not sure why that is. We'll see if it is bad once it's recorded in YouTube or if it's good. I'm not sure whose side it is that's stalling. But I think we're going to end here. Okay. Cool. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for being the guinea pigs with me.